They pick up the blitz. Dalton takes a shot deep for Jackson. He's got it. Action. Jackson. One play. Touchdown.
Great job by Coach Wooten coming out. I mean, he takes a shot on the first play of the game against the best team in the league, the team that gets after it. They lead the league in interceptions. Dalton Sneed to Jackson, on cue, on point to start the game. You couldn't ask for a better way to start the game, DL.
Panthers weren't messing around to start the game, coming off a great win over Frisco. Quarterback Dalton Sneed with us. How's it going, young man?
I'm doing great, Dave. How are you?
Awesome. I was just talking to a friend about the start of our game yesterday. 2 plays, 2 touchdowns to start off against the Frisco Fighters. They were undefeated, but you guys certainly didn't show any fear with those guys coming into town.
No, absolutely not. We wanted to come out aggressive. That was Coach Wooten wanted to set the tone early, and we did just that. You know, the receivers did a great job using their speed and athleticism to get open, and I just had to make a good throw, and we went 2 for 2. Started pretty well.
You're coming off a great career at the University of Montana. I followed you because I'm in the Big Sky with Sacramento State, so I'm definitely well aware of what you did as a college player. What about the adjustment for you as a quarterback from the 100-yard outdoor game to moving indoors?
Yeah, just the speed of it, and obviously with everything being so compacted, and you're only losing 3 players, 8 on 8. It's still a lot of guys on the field for it being that small. So it's a lot smaller windows, a lot quicker feet, a lot quicker delivery of the ball. Protection schemes are different because you have the one linebacker blitzing and whatnot, being in empty formations. It's been definitely adjustment, but I'd say the biggest thing is the speed and having to be quicker with your reads and how you process information.
What does it mean to you to really be sought after in the offseason? You were with Sioux Falls. You had the 25 touchdowns and the 3 picks, and the coaching staff of the Panthers said, hey, we want to get this guy. And Curtis Riggs wasn't going to let you get away with nothing, so we had to trade a pretty good lineman to go back to Sioux Falls. Just the emotional part of being wanted somewhere else.
Yeah, you know, it's nice to be wanted and feel that you're worth it to a franchise for them to want to come after you and trade away players that they really like on their roster to get you. You know, it speaks volumes of kind of what I've tried to aspire to be. I want to be a top quarterback in this league and try and hopefully move on to the next level, wherever that might be. So it feels good to be wanted, definitely.
I want to play something that I think really shows what you're about. This is you, not just as a passer, but someone that is willing to help out you.
And Sugar Space came back to win in the second half. Pitch to Rankin. Justin cuts it back. Sneed the lead blocker, and Rankin along the wall. Touchdown. Rankin's 5th rushing score. Sneed with the escort, and the Panthers struck first.
What are you doing as the lead blocker for Rankin out there?
Oh yeah. Hey, if Rankin's going to cut it back and there's one guy standing in the way, I'm going to go block him. I mean, that's just kind of how I play the game. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to help my team win the game, win the play, and just compete. I guess that stems from my childhood young, man. My dad just kind of raised me that way, to always be a competitor and always be a team player, a guy that, you know, just wants to go out there and do whatever you can do to win the game.
So you were never told by a coach or at the IFL level, hey, you know, we need you out there. We're only dressing one quarterback today or whatever. Let's chill out a little bit about these lead blocks.
Yeah, you know, from time to time, I think it was mentioned a little bit in Sioux Falls. But to be honest, I didn't do a lot in Sioux Falls because those opportunities weren't there. Now with Rankin and his run style and how he kind of keeps the play alive coming backside, you know, it only takes 1 or 2 more blocks to spring it for a touchdown. And I mean, you see a few times this season where we'll toss it and he comes cutting back all the way across. And I'm not going to just stand there. Rankin would throw a block for me. Anybody else would throw a block for me. So you can bet I'm going to throw a block for them.
Panthers at 5-3, tied for first in the Western Conference, and a score to settle coming up with the Tucson Sugar Skulls, a team that beat you 34-30 at the SAP Center. What do you think your team learned, and how are you a better team, maybe a better quarterback than you were in round 1?
I think just in terms of executing one play at a time. it's going out there and understanding what the defense is trying to do before the ball snapped, getting your pre-snap cues and kind of dissecting the defense before the snap is made, and really knowing where you're going to look and go with the football. Because the receivers that we have, they're going to get open and they're going to find space. They've got a high football IQ, especially against zone defenses like Tucson likes to play. So it's receivers getting open and understanding where those holes are in the defense. And I think that's where we've come the furthest in terms of me for reads, is understanding that what they're doing on defense, and receivers then understanding the holes in those defenses and how to attack it.
We were trying to hook up a few days ago and you said, "Oh, I'm playing golf." So how often do you play? Obviously a higher priority than talking to the announcer, but how often do you play? How good are you? And when did you pick it up?
So I started golfing probably when I was about, I would say 10 or 11. My dad got me a set and we would go every now and then, but I really got after it when COVID hit. It was when kind of everything was closed. Golf courses were open in Arizona. So I got some nice clubs, and my buddy, who's a really good golfer, scratch golfer, I would just go with him and he would just kind of teach me as much as I could learn and get better. And that's kind of when I fell in love with it, because golf's such a tough sport. But fortunately we're able to go. I haven't been in 3 or 4 months, except for yesterday. Went with Coach Wooten and Andrew, our strength and conditioning coach. So it was nice to get out and compete with them a little bit outside of the football realm. Just kind of kick back and hang out. So yeah, it's been great. I love golf. I'm probably I would say a mid-80s golfer, hoping to get into the 70s soon when football season ends and I can really start practicing, committing to the game.
Mid-80s will work, and that's a sport where you could be really bad for 16 holes. The 17th hole, you hit a great tee shot. You chip on and you make a par putt, and it's like, man, that's enough to bring you back and do it again.
Oh yeah, right. As soon as you get that great feeling of hitting a really good shot, and then every now and then you get that birdie, and you're like, oh yeah, this is why I do it. I could be more consistent with this, and then that's the chase, right? You just want to chase greatness. Hey, I want to beat this game. So
hey, I got one more play I want you to comment on, and then I want to talk about some spiritual stuff. So this is one of the great plays of the year in the IFL. In fact, I think it's a candidate for play of the year.
4th down and 4 for the Panthers. Play fake. Sneed goes to the air. He's got Stokes. He elevates. He rolls into the crowd, and he's got the Bay Area touchdown. What an athletic play. A full flip over the wall right there for JT Stokes.
Not bad. Hey, what did you think when you saw that play? And do you, as a quarterback, think about how much room you have in terms of dealing with the wall? Like, if I throw it there, the guy's going to crush himself on the wall or have to go over it.
Yeah, it's you always, as a quarterback, want to try and protect the guys, but sometimes you gotta put the ball where only they could get it. And JT's a guy that's going to lay his body on the line for his team. You see it all the time where I'm leading him into the wall, or he's having to make that catch running into it. In this instance, jumping over it and then flying into the hard plastic stands. So it was a ball I kind of had to throw over the corners. They were playing man there. JT beat the guy outside, and so the guy was trailing his inside hip, so I had to put it kind of high and outside, and he just made a spectacular catch, especially holding on to it, doing a full somersault into the stands, and just coming up with it and dancing. It was awesome.
Yeah, he's the leading touchdown receiver in the league. And then there are different games. I think Tucson, Nye Jackson just came alive in the fourth quarter, really out of nowhere, basically off the street. JT was the hot man early, now hot late. Haywood's coming on for you. So there really isn't like a true go-to guy every game, which must be pretty comforting because you can spread it around to a lot of guys that can really hurt you.
Yeah, our receiving core, our whole skill position at its depth is I'd say blended and really meshed together in the last few weeks. We've come together in terms of timing and spacing and kind of getting an idea of, hey, we're on the same page, kind of whatever play we call, whatever we're seeing on defense. And that goes back to recognizing the zone coverage. For me, knowing the read, and receivers knowing where they need to be. Hey, if I cross face versus this safety, it's going to get my guy on the outside open. So receiving core just coming together, and the chemistry is what we fed off of and been able to attack defenses with.
One thing I noticed about you, and you do it in a really subtle way, you don't smash people over the head with it, but you're a very spiritual guy. I've seen it in your social media and how you live. I see you picking up the bus with leftover banana peels or whatever. You got a real heart. for a world beyond this one. Hey, where did that come from, your spirituality, and how much does that play a part of what you do as a football player and as a man?
Yeah, great question. I would say my mom started getting us going as a family to church early, but that wasn't when I really found my heart for God. I'd say it became my freshman year of college. I was invited to the FCA group there, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and me and a few of the freshman guys on the football team, a few of the senior guys, and then all different sports, volleyball, soccer. And there was probably a group of about 30 of us. And Rick Strasser, he was the one who would lead these groups, and we'd play games at the beginning, and then we'd dive into the Word. And it was really when I found my following, and what I wanted to pursue, and where my faith lied, so to speak. So that was when I started to pursue it, and just how it pertains so much to athletics is when I loved it. I mean, you talk about the talents, the parable about talents, and how you can pertain that to the football world. I mean, not everyone's going to be as fast, not everyone's going to be as strong, but what God gifted you with, it's a disservice to him if you don't go out and use your God-given ability to the best of your ability. And that goes for any realm of life, any work, life, your family, in my instance, football. So that's how I try to live my life. I try to be as Christ-like as I can. And that's not to say I'm perfect by any means. I sin every day of my life, but that's what I strive to be. And my wife beside me, she shares the same values, and we feed off one another, and that's how we try to aspire and live our daily lives.
I know our ownership has used the phrase servant leadership in terms of how they want to run the business, and certainly you live it as well. So it's always awesome to talk to a good dude like you.
Absolutely, and likewise, Dave.
Panthers quarterback Dalton Sneed.